Welcome to One Small Step. This is the FMC findmecoaches.com Podclass series. It's so named because we aim with each episode to leave our audience with at least one small step that will take them nearer to achieving their goals, reaching their full potential. I'm Colin Newbold and I'm the founder of FMC, which is a coaching platform where you can find certified and experienced professional coaches who work with clients across a wide variety of areas. And the format of these episodes is an interview that I record with a selection of our coaches. So, welcome to our Podclass series. We call it One Small Step. And I'd like to introduce you to our guest this morning, who is Fran Manca. Now, Fran, I know you're skilled in a lot of different areas related to coaching, but for this podcast, you've chosen business and strategy coaching. What makes you choose that?
Yes, so first of all, hello, and I'm really excited to be on this series. I am a strategist by background, so I spent most of my career in marketing and business strategies and events. So when I started my own company, initially, I actually went into strategy, especially for marketing and business growth. At the same time, my son was going through diagnosis, and he was diagnosed with autism, ADHD, and PDA. From that, my own diagnosis in ADHD followed, and I can't quite cope with things without knowing the insides and outs of everything. So when we got diagnosed with my son, I started studying everything I could find, got a mini diploma in autism, mini diploma in ADHD, studied PDA, started volunteering and helping with the PDA Society. And at the same time, I was running my own business. I started my own business because of what was happening with my son. So I needed to be more flexible with my time and my commitments and to support him better. So what happened was I started the first blog about PDA, which means pathological demand avoidance. It's a part of the spectrum in Italian. And because I was relentlessly talking about this, people who knew I was a strategist and a coach, but also I knew about autism, ADHD, PDA, started coming to me to say, so you're coaching people about business growth and career and strategy, but you also know about this. I'm neurodivergent, can you coach me? And this is how it started, really. And now I don't just coach neurodivergent people, but I coach anyone who wants to grow their business or make a change in their careers with an eye to work-life balance.
Got it. Wow. So that's the people that you serve. ADHD is very, shall we say, prevalent in society. It's talked about a lot. It didn't used to be. When we talk about ADHD, what are the actual ways of knowing if you have it or not?
Well, the actual ways of knowing is going for a diagnosis.
Is that a clinical diagnosis of, with a doctor or something? How does it work? I don't understand.
Yeah. Any autism diagnosis is done by psychiatrists. So you need a referral from your GP, and then a psychiatrist needs to see you. Obviously, self-diagnosis is possible if one doesn't want, especially for adults, you don't really get much help. You might get access to work, which is a really good support because access to work is a government-funded support, and it can fund coaching, it can fund adjustments. So if you need a specific chair or specific software, if you're dyslexic, for example, or there are software who listen to your meetings and transcribe them automatically. So there is quite a lot of support you can get. But except for that, you don't really get any extra support, whether when you're a child, it's an easier, the diagnosis then opens the door to having more support in school, etc., etc. So we don't need an official diagnosis in the sense that self-diagnosis is accepted, especially for ADHD. ADHD is part of the spectrum. So
when you say part of the spectrum, you mean the autistic spectrum?
Yes. It's
a form of autism.
So some of the characteristics are similar to what is called, we can call classical autism. Some are specific to ADHD, which means attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. But it's even within the ADHD, there is a spectrum. So there are people who are constantly doing something and hyperactive and trying to get things done before anyone else. They're better than anyone else. They're doing things, they're faster than anyone else. There are people who are still ADHD who procrastinate until things have to be done. So ADHD is a really vast spectrum. All the conditions of the autistic spectrum are characterized from social deficit. So there is an element of not quite understanding how society works, how social rules work. And we need to do a lot of work, especially when we are children and teenagers, to understand that if you're supported well enough, even if you're diagnosed as an adult, there are strategies that you can put in place to overcome this. But it is constant work. There is also a sensory aspect, so not being able to cope very well with noises or bright lights or certain smells or tastes, etc., etc. So it's a variety of things. But if we were here to talk about how to get diagnosed, we'd need a couple of hours just for that.
Okay. Wow. That's quite a big subject. I'm aware then that you work with business professionals, organizational coaching and so on. But you don't just specialize in people with an ADHD disorder. You will work with anybody that wants help with business and strategy. Yeah. And what's your background? Where'd you come from? Where's that accent from?
So I'm Italian. I'm from Sardinia. My career started in Italy in too long ago, in 1997, and
just
then I worked in Italy. I worked for the likes of Fiera Milano, Diesel, the jeans brand, Calcedonia, which is a lingerie brand, very famous in Italy, Santander, Virgin gyms, etc. And then in 2011, I moved to the UK. 2010, I moved to the UK. And I started working in events first in-house for agencies, and then got headhunted by a company who wanted me to start their own marketing and events department. From there, I got headhunted a couple of times to do the same for other companies. And then when I went self-employed, I went through first consulting and then coaching. I always loved the mentoring and coaching part of my business when I was a senior manager or a director, and getting people to arrive where they want to go has always been the part of my job I enjoyed the most. And so the transition into coaching was really natural, shall we say?
Right, so you were doing it anyway, but then you decided to become a coach.
Yeah.
Did you take a coaching qualification before you started?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I started coaching entrepreneurs on how to start and run their business. And then I moved on to applying strategy for growth. So I started coaching team leaders or business development directors or business development managers. And then I moved on to coaching for career moves. And in all of that, the neurodivergent side of things feeds through. And that is a slightly different type of coaching, because you need to incorporate how to overcome the challenges that life throws at you into the mix.
Very interesting. Thank you. So how would you describe your coaching style, Fran?
So the clue is in the name of my business. My business is called Underwing. When I launched my business, it wasn't called like that. But after 1 or 2 years, I engaged an amazing branding agency. And what they did is they went to all my past coachees and they talked to them about how do I coach them, what's my style, what they like about me, etc. And what they said was that for the majority of them said, Fran keeps you under her wing until you're ready to walk by yourself. And from that, the name of my company.
That's lovely.
So it's a
great story.
It's a way of giving people the confidence they need, so that at the end of the coaching, they don't need me anymore and they're ready to just go by themselves. And they have like a toolbox of strategies and things they can reuse, even if I'm not there anymore.
Fantastic. Thank you. How do you approach new coachees to ensure they're feeling comfortable?
So first of all, I believe that coaching is not about the coach, it's about the coachee. So I don't think I've ever coached two people in the actual same way. I like to learn about the person first, to learn about where they are and where they want to go and what is preventing them from going there or getting there as fast as they want. This exercise is one of the very first things I do. And sometimes it helps the coachee. Sometimes the coachee doesn't have the clarity about why do they want some coaching or what is it that they actually want to sort out. So this first exercise gives clarity to me, but sometimes also to them. And then after that, we make a plan. And when we make a plan, we break it down in steps that are as small as they need to be for the person to be confident and not to feel overwhelmed or scared or think, how am I going to get there? How am I going to do this thing that you're talking about? And then we walk from one bit to the other bit.
Okay, that sounds great. One of the things that came up there was the fact that, like all coaches that work on the FMC Find Me Coaches in the community there, you offer a free sort of exploratory discussion, sometimes known as a chemistry meeting, just to make sure that you and the coachee both feel comfortable. But what we've discovered is that whilst that conversation may happen and takes perhaps 15-20 minutes, when you first start the coaching, when you actually get the gig and you start the first coaching session, you will ask the same questions again, and sometimes the answers come out different. There's a deeper need that wasn't revealed in the first session. Is that your experience too?
Yes, I think that sometimes when we're doing chemistry meetings or meetings where we just tell people what we do, we stay on the surface. We don't quite get into the nitty-gritty of things. But I also believe that the questions I ask in the first session are different than the questions I'll ask in a chemistry meeting. So in the first session, my aim is to go as deep as I can, because the clearer the picture I can make in that first session, the easier is the job to then lay down a strategy. Whether in the chemistry meeting is more about the coachee feeling whether they're okay working with me, am I a person they would like to chat to every week of their lives for a bit, and also for me to see, can I actually help them? There are some people I can't help, so it's about discovering whether they actually need my help, or can I signpost them to someone else.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Now, how do you action plan with a coachee as you get to the end of a coaching session?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. So, I have some phases through my session. So if it's the first session, it's a different thing. But if it's from the second session onwards, the first part of the session is about what happened since we last met. Are any of the strategies that we talked about being used? Then what results are they bringing? Is something that we talked about a definite no because they've tried it and it didn't work for them or something? So the first part is all about that. And then we talk through what's coming up this week and what is it that we can address. And for each one of the things that the coachee brings up, I always say I'm like a database of solutions. So I dish out possible things that we can put in place. And then the end of the session is about what I call homework. And it's about recapping everything we said and saying, right, so this is what we're going to do between now and the next session. Now, I always send what I call a report at the end of each session so that the person knows what we've talked about, what we've discussed, what kind of strategies did we discuss that they said, yeah, I'm willing to try this. And then at the end, there will be a little bit of homework. Some decide to do it, some decide to not do it. But this is how I structure it. So the end is about what actions are we taking between now and next time.
Yes, perfect. And also I like the idea of you summarizing what actually took place and what you've agreed in the form of an email, presumably.
Yeah, it is an email.
Yeah. So for anyone in our audience who may be watching or listening to this, and they may feel they're challenged in some of the ways you've described, if you were to give them a first easy step to get going, what would it be, Fran?
Clarity. Clarity is the first easy step. Sit down and think whether you're thinking about changing careers. Why is this career not right for me? Why do I want to change it? What is that's difficult? And then explore what could you do with your skills and look into those jobs. You need clarity to make a decision. And if we're talking about business and running your business or growing your business, it's about knowing what's stopping the growth. What is it? Why are you not growing? And then once that is clear, your brain will start automatically looking for solutions, because that's what brains do. It's if you know what the problem is, the brain will work out a way with a coach or without. It doesn't really matter.
That's a great answer. Thank you. Well, look, you've spent 15 minutes, I think we've been talking. I really appreciate the time you've given us, Fran. It's reassuring to know that there are specialists out there who can help people who know they have something like ADHD or autism, and they can get specific help. But as you said at the beginning, you don't just work with those people. But having that skill must be of great value to you in your coaching experience. I want to thank you for giving up time to do this podcast with us, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so
You
much,
too.
Fran Manca. All the best.
See you
Bye-bye.
later.
Thank you for watching. I hope you found that valuable. You got something from it. Now, you may be looking for coaching in that area or a different area, completely unrelated to what was shown in the episode. The best place to go to find out more is our website, which is www.findmecoaches.com. You'll see it on the screen now. And you'll see a variety of coaches in very many different areas of coaching. So you may have an issue or a challenge or an event coming up, or maybe you've just had an interaction with somebody and you really need some help through coaching. So go to the website, have a look at the coaches we offer, the coaching niches that we operate in. And if you want to reach out, there is a form that you can fill in on the website. Alternatively, why not email us at info@findmecoaches.com, or why not call us? Our number is +44 if you're outside of the UK, 0203 988 6666. Once again, that's 0203 988 6666. Bye-bye now.